We conclude the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show. Once again at the half, it is the Star Valley Braves 28, the Riverton Wolverines 6. Behind the scenes, still trying to diagnose some of these technical issues we are having, but hopefully...
Make sure our radio audience can hear us as well.
I will effort that right now.
Well, we had a beautiful drive here, Jerrad. It's a beautiful night. I mean, it really is. I wish everybody could see behind us a beautiful sunset, some foothills here, and mountains on the very western side of Wyoming. This is, I'm sure, one of the nicer places on a nice night to play football in the state of Wyoming. We are having about as much luck up in the press box as the Wolverines did against this second-ranked team in the state down there on the football field, though. Has not been the Wolverines' night. So we mentioned in the Buckle Up for Life halftime show, what hopefully you're able to hear of it. The Wolverines had some offensive moments. That DeVries to McIntosh connection was there twice in the first half. Big gains on both tries. Riverton able to run the ball here and there fairly successfully. Just the small margin that this Star Valley team gives you defensively, trying to force those errors. Thought Evanston was good at turning the ball over. Star Valley is, see why they are the just barely second-ranked team in the state here tonight.
Yeah, it is a very close margin. Looks like for those of you on 105.1 Jack FM, we brought you some bonus coverage of a game gone by with Riverton and Powell. We apologize for that. Lost our feed a few times in the first half. Let's hope that we hold together here in the second half and can bring you the sights and sounds from Afton, Wyoming, as the sun sets behind us. Jerrad Anderson, Scott Fuller, and Jason Peterson, our camera operator, from a packed press box at Star Valley High School. About a minute away from kickoff, again 28-6. Braves out in front of the Wolverines. We'll be back on at home, the friendly surroundings of Wolverine Field next Friday for homecoming. It's got the homecoming parade, the homecoming dance next Friday in Riverton. Always a festive time, and the first conference game of the year next week with Rollins coming to Riverton. Hunter Saltzgaver has the tee placed at the 40-yard line. Wolverines in their away white uniforms, Braves in their home red uniforms trimmed in yellow and black. It is Neild and Merritt back deep to receive, and we are just about ready for the second half of action.
Wolverines won the opening coin toss, and this time around this week, they chose the ball. They did go 3 and out on that first possession. Had better luck on the second drive of the first quarter. But they will have to give the ball back to the Braves then to start the second half, and trailing, as you see, 28-6.
Saltzgaver has it teed up. His crowd is boisterous. Public address announcer pumping him up even more. Cheerleaders. Got the band. It is Western-themed night here in the student section. Saltzgaver's kick is a low-line drive that's fielded by Merritt. Porter is going to go from the left to the right, try to find a crease. Talon Toman is there, though, to wrap him up at the 10-yard line. Good job, Toman, to make a great open field tackle and not let him get much more, and that is where the Braves will start at their own 10.
First 2 weeks of the season, 0 week in week 1. Kick cover was shaky at best for the Wolverines, but at Evanston last week and here at Star Valley, kick cover really has been just about perfect, forcing these very talented offenses to go 90-plus yards down the field in this case, as opposed to starting at about midfield.
The senior Tristan Hilton will get the start again in the second half. Jesse Levitt's in the backfield. He's got Colgren in motion. The ball is loose on the snap, and the quarterback is hit at about the 2-yard line. Was that a bad snap, Scott?
Yeah, it looked like the quarterback may have taken his eyes off the snap. It wasn't a perfect snap, and Paxton Stevens was right there for the Wolverines. And I think this ball, I guess they are going to put it on the 2. The art in the end zone here is kind of interesting. It's difficult to discern from up here where the goal line is, but I thought it was even closer to the goal line than that, where the quarterback fell on it.
I believe that may have been Caden Liebrecht. We'll get to more on Caden in a second. Hilton looks across the middle. He's got a wide open target. Wilkes is all the way out to the 35-yard line where he's finally knocked down. So a pickup of about 33, 34 yards there on the completion. And they were backed up to their own 2, and all of a sudden they have good field position again.
As we've mentioned, the Wolverines want the secondary to be able to help in run support. Don't feel their front is quite up where it needs to be in run stop, but that means the secondary is susceptible to some of those long passes.
Pitch to Wilkes. He's got room on the right side. Larson to beat. Larson's going to have a touchdown-saving tackle potentially at the 37-yard line. They'll flip it into Wolverine territory, though, and move the chains again.
So if you bring your secondary up for run support, as we saw again on that play, it had better work, because if the offense gets to the second level, there is not a whole lot of help there. You saw, as Jerrad mentioned, touchdown-saving tackle there from Jackson Larson. He's had to make a few of those here today. Just a few too many times that run support defense has been up there for Riverton, and they haven't stopped it, and Larson has been forced to make a long run and a nice tackle.
Hilton out of the shotgun, 3 receivers to his left. Levitt in the backfield. He'll hand it to Levitt, who wants to try the left side. He's got a big hole. Levitt is off to the races. 10-5 pushed, but did he get in? He did. Jesse Levitt from 37 yards out, and it's a Star Valley touchdown. Open the second half scoring.
As we mentioned, this is where Riverton wants to be. And Coach Lenhart received high praise in the Porter's Tailgate Show. When you talk to Coach Young there, Jerrad, Star Valley's 7-year head coach, said he has no more respect for any other coach in the state of Wyoming than he does Coach Lenhart. And I'm fully expecting that we can get in this direction of Star Valley, but the difference is the strength, hitting the weight room, the size, and the blocking scheme up front on pretty simple run concepts. They just execute it so well that if you make one mistake offensively or defensively, they're going to take it to the house.
Bueller's PAT is good. It is now Star Valley 35, Riverton 6 with 10:01 to play in the third quarter. And I'll remind you that the Wolverines had Star Valley backed up to their own 2-yard line. And I think 3, maybe 4 plays later, they're in the end zone.
I believe it was 3. And, nice play there on the goal line. Against any other team, you might be sniffing out a safety or forcing a 3 and out from there at best to give your offense great field position. Not these Star Valley Braves. They didn't seem to break a sweat, moving right down the field 98 yards from that point to score a touchdown. This is just a offensive showcase. This is a fun team to watch when they are not playing your team.
If you're just tuning in, or perhaps we had some first half technical difficulties, the one Riverton score was a 1-yard touchdown run from Blake Gattenbein. Wolverines have put together a couple other lengthy drives, but there were 2 interceptions in the first half that prevented those from going any further. See what the Wolverines can do here as Bueller will kick the ball away. It's McIntosh who goes down low at the 15 to grab it. He's across the 25 looking for some room. A flag comes in here near the end of the play. He's tackled at the 27.
Riverton doesn't need any flags on them, obviously, at this point in the game. And with the score the way it is, we have seen more flags thrown on both teams than we have in the 3 games previous to this one.
Holding against Riverton.
It's a hold on the return, so the Wolverines will start even deeper into their own territory. Put the ball just inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. So 1st and 10 from their own 19.
That was a 3-play.
DeVries on that ankle looks a little bit better than he did at the end of the first half. It seemed to be re-aggravated. That play 1, week 0 injury seemed to, be re-aggravated on a rollout there at the end of the second quarter. But he is still out there, the senior quarterback, looking okay on those ankles.
Ryan Cox will line up in the backfield again. We saw that quite a bit in Evanston. DeVries takes the shotgun snap, wants Sheets across the field. He's got it across the 35 and finally driven out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Tackle from Jaden Crook, but not before a Wolverine first down.
May well be a design throwback here across the field. You see on the Gambles replay, good job by the offensive line to buy him the time that DeVries needs to leak just a little bit to his left, knowing he has a drag coming all the way across the field. That's a replay from maybe the first half. The Gremlins may have struck our replay system as well.
It's just Gremlins all over tonight. DeVries under center, 2 in the backfield. They'll give it to the second guy through. That's Gattenbein. Gattenbein is driven backwards by a pile of Braves. They're going to give him forward progress, which ultimately gives him maybe a yard on the play, but man, he was swarmed under quick.
See here on 2nd and 9, the Wolverines want to use that far flat side of the field on the top side of your screen and maybe stretch the 3-4 a little bit. See a personnel shift of 4 new Wolverines coming in from the sideline. Got to get up to the line and get the play called here. Taking a lot of time.
Wolverines will finally break the huddle.
2nd down and 9 for the Wolverines.
3 receivers to DeVries' right, 1 to his left. Now Sheets lines up in the backfield in motion. They'll pitch it to Sheets, reverse to McIntosh, who loses the football. Nick wisely jumps on it at the 23-yard line, but Riverton loses a bunch of yards on the mishandle.
Yeah, that's why you have to carve out time in practice to practice those tricky plays, and we know that from first week of practice, Coach Lenhart has carved out a little bit of time. It's also fun for the guys to run those plays in practice. But as the season goes on and you get focused on installing what you want for the week ahead and fixing what you saw on film the previous Friday, there tends to be less and less time for those trick plays. And that time just a fundamental issue on the mesh there on the reverse. I think maybe a pass was coming there, which might have been exciting to see, but play blew up in the backfield.
See what they've got in their arsenal for 3rd down and 27. 8:37 to play 3rd quarter. Star Valley out in front 35-6. DeVries out of the shotgun. Has Sheets on a short completion. Sheets does shed a tackle, and he's across the 40 down to the 41, but he's still about 11 yards shy of the first down. Still a nice pickup for some positive yardage there. DeVries to Sheets.
Ty Sheets, senior. Listed at 5'11", but speedy at 155 pounds. Nice rack there, runs after the yards after the catch. Yak, they call that. Run after the catch. But not enough for the first down. Wolverines showing punts on 4th and 11.
DeVries. Well, no, that's not DeVries. New punter into the game for the Wolverine is Gage Treber. Treber's punt is fielded and brought across the 45-yard line down to about the 47, so outstanding starting position for the Star Valley Braves at their own 47. Gage Treber on the Wolverine punt.
Have not seen Star Valley outside of that game against the Idaho team they lost to here last week, and of course in person here tonight. But they have a sideline demeanor, and those guys on the field have an overall demeanor of excellence, and they are unsurprised by excellence, and that's the sign of a well-coached team. Not a whole lot of emotion being shown. Just go out, do your job like you know you're supposed to, and go do it again.
Smith McClure is in the backfield this time to start the offense. He'll hand it off to Bassett. Colin Bassett wants to throw. He has a man. It's complete to Wiley Wilkes for a big gain. Wiley Wilkes all the way down to the 31.
Colin Bassett with the pass.
Star Valley ran this play in warm-ups when Riverton was not on the field, which I noticed. Riverton spent a lot of time in the locker room before the start of the game, and it was then that Star Valley started running through some of these plays, and that was one of them. Halfback pass off the give. Riverton almost able to close on it, but a first down for Star Valley.
McClure again out of the shotgun. Has Porter Merritt. Porter tries to fight off Jackson Larson from tackling him. He's got a minimal gain of maybe 4 on the reception. So 2nd down and 6 coming up. But the Braves on the move again here as we close in on 7 minutes to play 3rd quarter. Star Valley already with a 35-6 advantage.
Talon Tolman on the play there too. Jackson Larson has been beat here and there, but he by and large has been all over the field in that single high safety position on the left side of your screen right now. Having to do a lot in coverage today.
McClure fakes the handoff. He gives it to Neild. Bryson Neild hauls it in for a completion across the 20-yard line, and that will move the Sticks a gain of 8.
Methodical. You get the feeling that Star Valley can do whatever it wants to do at any time. And Riverton has diagnosed some of it, executed on some of that defensively, and they forced some nice plays here and there. This team is just too good a football team. Too good, too big, too strong, too fast.
Lancaster, Neild, and Merritt go to the right of McClure. He's got Levitt in the backfield out of the shotgun. McClure to the corner of the end zone. 1-on-1. It's caught. I think that's Porter Merritt. Nope, that's Cash Lancaster. Lancaster has another Braves touchdown. Boy, that ball looked well thrown.
You said it, Jerrad. That was perfectly thrown. I wish I could show you on the Gamble's replay here. That appears to be down, but we had a good vantage point of that and what the quarterback was seeing in the pocket. And he hung it just perfectly. Back shoulder, which is where you throw that ball, so if anything, it flies out of bounds. But it was on his receiver. Receiver's job then to adjust. He did. And it wasn't necessarily poor coverage on that play. It's just when a ball is that well thrown and the receiver is that good with his feet and his hands, it's very difficult to stop. They can get you any way they want. I mean, that's a scary thing for the Cody Bronx of the world, I think, to watch this team play. Everybody, as we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, has that Star Valley Cody game circled. Coming up here in a couple of weeks, I believe. But, man, these Braves are very impressive. Both sides of the ball, their demeanor on the sideline, even listening to your interview with Coach Young, even just a very outwork kind of attitude of not too high, not too low. When something bad happens, do what we know how to do again, and things will turn out all right. And this is from seeing Cody, and this is just out of 2 games when both teams played Riverton, but this is the best team in the state. If those are 1 and 2, that Cody game's going to be interesting, but I would be scared of Star Valley.
October 6th at Cody, I think, is the day of that game. That will be a fun one to keep an eye on for sure. The kick will go into the end zone, touchback, and the Wolverines will start from their own 20. Still a lot of time in this game left, and the Wolverines have an opportunity here to go through some more of the playbook and hopefully start to pick up some kind of a rhythm in this one before they go into conference play next week against Rollins, trailing 42-6, though. 6:12 remaining, 3rd quarter from the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. Jerrad Anderson and Scott Fuller with you. Jason Peterson, our camera operator. And coming up at the conclusion of this game, we'll get into the Bailey Tire and Auto postgame show. Bailey's proud to support our local athletes. They've got full-service tire and auto shops in Riverton and Lander. Wolverine football. DeVries is under center. He's got 2 in the backfield with him. Now Cox goes in motion and will line up in the backfield too. They'll give it to Gattenbein, who gets 2 on the carry to the left side.
I'm not worried about this from Coach Lenhart, having spoken to him and listening to people like Coach Young here at Star Valley sing his praises. But I have coached on teams that have lost for a long time and have lost badly, which unfortunately is the situation Riverton's in. And the biggest challenge in a game with a scoreboard like this is to keep that sideline from saying, oh, here we go again, same old Riverton football. Got to take it one play at a time, one drive at a time. I know that's a cliche, but even if you don't come back and win this game against a really difficult team, you have to prevent this from bleeding over into a winnable game next week.
DeVries is all alone behind the center. He's got 5 receivers. He flares it out to the far side. It's completed. I'll get a name here in a second. That's Gattenbein again on the reception. And Blake has a pickup of 8 right near the sticks, and the chains will move.
It's a nice read on a timing route there on the far sideline by the senior quarterback, playing as always through some discomfort in his ankle. Wolverines have receiving options, and there is team chemistry between the quarterbacks, both quarterbacks, the senior and the sophomore, and these playmakers on the offensive side. And as we go into a more gentle portion of the schedule, I would say, Jerrad, I think we're going to see a lot of that manifest itself positively for the Wolverines.
DeVries out of the shotgun, almost wanted to set up a screen pass, it looked like, but didn't find anybody, and DeVries ultimately is knocked off of his feet, so incomplete pass will bring up a 2nd and 10. That's a good point, Scott. You look at the first 3-4 games of the season, throw an Evanston team on the rise into that mix, but Riverton's seen the 3 teams that everybody's talking about in 3A right off the bat, in Cody, Star Valley, and Powell right there in that mix. So we'll see how the Wolverines can stack up against some of those, I don't want to say lower tier teams, but I think people will understand what I mean by that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Riverton's there too, and we're trying to climb back up, but to make plays here and there against those teams, it's been exciting here and there for the Wolverines against some of the toughest teams that anyone's going to play this year.
Sheets goes in motion. DeVries trying to look at a bubble screen to McIntosh, and Nick has... Is that Saltzgaver? I thought the PA said Saltzgaver. That is Nick McIntosh with the catch, though, and he picks up 4 on the completion.
Making 2 defenders miss, just individual effort after the play with his balanced feet. Not easy to cut back like that. First to the sideline and then back inside to dodge 2 tackles and turn a 1-yard gain into a 5-yard gain.
I want to give a big shout out to the family and Caden Liebrecht. Liebrecht was wearing a different jersey than we had in our roster, and in fact, pretty much all the Riverton rosters said that he was wearing 83 when he was actually wearing 84 last week. Caden Liebrecht had a heck of a ball game at Evanston, recovered a fumble, made a lot of plays. Here's a pass to Sheets for a first down. DeVries has Ty Sheets out to the 45-yard line.
Sheets on the intermediate cross from the far sideline. Doing a very nice job showing his numbers to Derek DeVries. And Derek with perfect timing on that play. You wait just a little bit too long and that play doesn't work. It's timing deep crosser, and Riverton likes that play. And that play especially is one that when we get back home next week and Wolverine fans can see this offense again in person, I think you're going to see that play better refined than we did in the Powell game in week 0.
Derek stands under center. He's got 3 in the backfield, including Cox. He'll give it to Gattenbein, who's met at the line of scrimmage, gets maybe a yard on the play, and that tough Star Valley defensive line continues to do some work.
They really are, and it's almost instinctual how as they start out of their stance, especially those front 3 in that 3-4, they start out of their stance, and with their momentum going forward, it's somehow instinctual that they can read where the play is going, and that has made them a little bit susceptible to misdirection, as we've seen here tonight. But when the defense starts moving to the ball like that, the offensive line has to keep up, and it's just tough to block guys that size when you're moving.
DeVries works out of the shotgun. Will pitch it to Gattenbein. Left side had a little more room initially, but it closed in a hurry, and Blake may have 2 on this carry.
I do want to credit the offensive line, which we haven't done yet in pass pro. When they drop back in pass protection, Derek DeVries, by and large, has had a ton of time. Sometimes he's gotten in trouble trying to roll out, but when he's had pocket throws, he has had tons of time. So while the Wolverine offensive line is having a little bit of trouble at the point of attack moving forward on run plays, their pass pro has been very good here tonight. That's a good sign for the Wolverine passing game going forward.
Ryan Cox, Xavier Garcia, Nathan Mills, Lyric Gordon, Tyree Harris, Aragon, the starting linemen. We see Zarek Prosser in once in a while. Aiden Sanchez as well comes in on that Riverton offensive line. 3rd down for the Wolverines. DeVries wants to throw off of the hands, incomplete, of Ty Sheets, and Sheets claps his hands together, wanted that one. That was a good opportunity there, but Ty just unable to bring that one home, which is rare for him.
Deep crosser. This is the play I was just mentioning, that when we get back home, you guys, you fans, at Riverton High School, hopefully next Friday, are going to have a fun time watching this play, I think. And that time, Derek DeVries read a blitz coming from his right side. He wanted to go deep cross anyway, I bet. But with that blitz coming from his right, he's certainly more apt to throw it right. And he stood up into the pressure, allowed the route to develop, put the ball where it needed to be. And Ty Sheets, unfortunately, let the ball get on its body and dropped it.
4th and 8.
Trips to the right, 2 to the left as the Wolverines go on first down. He's got McIntosh at the 50. McIntosh slips out of one tackle, trying to get to the first down marker. He does, spins across the 40. Wolverines pick up a first down on a 4th and 8.
Where's the Gamble's replay when I need it? My button's not working, but what are you kidding me? Nick McIntosh with his footwork. This is a clinic. He is
Ball on the 39-yard
changing
line.
directions and making 4 tacklers miss, and these are 4 very good defensive players on this number 2 team in the state. Nick McIntosh in open field. If he has any room at all in the flat, or anywhere on the field, really. I mean, we've seen him make those deep touchdown catches, too. But what a pass threat all over the field. That play was special.
4 receivers to the right of DeVries. They're going to send Sheets in motion, who lines up on the right side now, too. DeVries will get it to Sheets, who runs into some Star Valley players on the field and some more on the bench.
Sheets with the reception.
Loss of a yard on the reception.
Tough to find open space on that short side of the field. Don't mind the play call, especially on first down, just to knock on the door over there and see what might be over there. But even on a perfectly timed throw and catch, you know you're not going to have a whole lot of time to do anything to make somebody miss. Brings up second down after a loss of just about 1.
Clock stops with 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. Star Valley leads the Wolverines 42-6 in Afton. 5 receivers again for DeVries out of the shotgun, and Sheets was the intended target. Sheets just got leveled at the 30-yard line, and some of the Star Valley Braves are there to try to check on Ty Sheets.
That's clean play, and that's a grown-up hit.
That was Weeblehouse in on the hit. We've seen Weeblehouse with an interception, a touchdown, and a big-time hit. And good news for Wolverine fans, good news for everybody, as Ty Sheets bounces up to his feet and will walk off, and he gets a nice round of applause from the Star Valley fans.
If you've ever been hit like that, for a couple of, assuming nothing more serious is wrong, and hopefully that's the case, that he just got rocked there, but it's a very surreal feeling of, I have no idea what just happened. I couldn't tell you where it came from. I don't know what happened. And kind of come to and walk off the field. I certainly hope he's okay. That is a shot. And a clean play. That's a legal play, well-timed. Head was on the side of the shoulder pads where it needed to be by the defender. Nice power acceleration through Sheets there on the tackle, but that's just, man, that's a big shot.
Third down and 11 for the Wolverines on the Star Valley 40. DeVries rolling to his left. He wants to tuck it and go. He slips out of one tackler, but not much room, as DeVries will pick up a gain of 2, maybe 3, and it'll set up another 4th and long.
It has been difficult for the offensive line of the Wolverines, as we just were mentioning earlier in the drive, to move on those design boot plays, or any time that Derek DeVries feels like he has to move around in the pocket. That's where it becomes difficult for the O-line to continue the pass protection in the backfield. I think you try to keep him in the pocket. As good a mobile quarterback as DeVries is, he is fighting that ankle, and the O-line has done very well when he stays back there in the pocket to throw.
The Wolverines are just going to walk off with about 20 seconds to play in the quarter and opt to talk this over. Might as well. It is a 4th and 8. We saw them convert a 4th and 8 earlier in this drive. We'll see what they do when we come back to start the 4th quarter. After 3, it's Star Valley 42, Riverton 6. Come on back for the final 12 minutes with us on County10.com and 105.1 Jack FM.
amazing parts at Fremont Motors during the Open Road Sales Event. We're giving away a complimentary Wyoming State Parks pass with every vehicle sold, so you can get out and explore our beautiful state behind the wheel of a brand new vehicle. Plus, all Fremont vehicles come back by Fremont Care, so you'll be covered no matter what the open road has in store. Visit Fremont Chevrolet GMC in Riverton or shop online anytime at FremontMotors.com and start your Wyoming adventure today.
I'm John Shade, your Edward Jones financial advisor. Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement of our young athletes from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. That's why Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of the Lander Tigers on KOVE. Call John Shade or stop by my office at 824 West Main Street for all your investment needs. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Welcome you back to Star Valley High School, Afton, Wyoming.
I'll tell you up here, Jerrad, it's just not our night. Your computer just decided to die on us here, too.
Yeah, not sure
How about the band tonight?
anything is going correct technically on the broadcast or for the Wolverines at large. They trail 42-6. 4th and 8 coming up, though. Wolverines had an opportunity on 4th and 8 earlier in this drive, went for it, completed a pass to McIntosh, who danced around and gained quite a few yards. We'll see what they do here, as interesting formation with DeVries and 2 in the backfield with them. Flags fly as soon as we start. And I assume this is going to be against Riverton.
Might be a motion. Offensively, you can have 2 players moving around in the backfield, 2 or more, as long as they're not in the set line of scrimmage position. I think actually what they're going to call here, Jerrad, is a substitution. The illegal shift is when you have 2 or more players moving, you have to let them set for a second before you snap it.
Is the penalty call?
But I thought the signal was substitution. Couldn't quite see from here. Either way, 5 yards. And we'll try again for Riverton on 4th down.
A lot of new personnel in. We'll see if they go for it again. It does look like they will, as Coach Lenhart's out there talking with Derek DeVries for a while longer. 4th and 13, and really still with an entire quarter to go. Not a lot to lose at this point for Riverton.
Pocket has been very clean for Derek DeVries. You got Nick McIntosh out there on the far side, second from the top, I believe, on your screen. See what the Wolverines dial up here.
DeVries out of the shotgun. Under pressure, is hit. The ball is free. It's picked up by Star Valley. Would have been a turnover on downs anyhow. A flag flies in now on the fumble return. And we've got a hurt Wolverine player.
Clay Merritt with the...
It was Clay Merritt who picked up the fumble.
Xavier Garcia, who is really hurting to get off the field. And just as we're praising the offensive line and keeping a clean pocket for DeVries, left tackle led his guy through him. Right-handed quarterbacks cannot see the backside pressure, obviously, and the left tackle's job is to keep that clean for him, and that broke down.
Ty Sheets is really hobbling off of the field. That time, he, of course, took a big shot last time, but this time he's really hobbled on his left leg.
So Xavier Garcia also injured on that play. Ty Sheets hurting. After the turnover, there was a block in the back on the return called against Star Valley. So from the spot where the play ended, we'll back the Braves up 5 yards, but a turnover on 4th down by the Riverton offense.
For a whole lot of things going on that play. The Braves will take over with 11:46 remaining in the contest at their own 23.
So we need to get some defensive subs in for 2 injuries. Both those injured Wolverines are 2-way players on the line and in the secondary.
I think we had motion to start this one. Official says offsides on the defense, so it'll be a 1st and 5.
Now put the ball back where it originally was after the turnover for the Braves, but with only a 1st and 5 to convert. Might be seeing some younger guys coming into the game, possibly for Riverton, to give them some big big team experience, but also out of injury necessity, too, for Riverton.
It is Tristan Hilton still in the game for Star Valley. He's taken the majority of the snaps, I'd say, at quarterback, but we've seen McClure quite a bit, too. Handoff and a gain of 1. That was Peyton Schwab, I believe. First carry, first time I've called the name Peyton Schwab.
Prosser with a nice job on the interior of the defensive line. Big number 53. Not sure if you can see it on your screen if you're watching on the County 10 YouTube stream, but since he's come back from injury, he was back with the Evanston game last week. The senior has made a big, big difference on the inside of that defensive line for the Wolverines.
Hilton will go under center as the Star Valley students jump up and down and shake in the press box a little bit. Levitt, that's not Levitt, that is big number 39, Jaden Kuntz with the handoff, and he's across the 40-yard line all the way down to the 41, and the Braves will move the chains once again as we're inside of 11 minutes to play.
Jackson Larson, number 17 on the right side of your screen. You'll see him come into the right side of your screen right now if you're watching. He has been asked to make a ton of plays in that single high safety position. Mentioned it a couple of times, but he's had a great game.
There's Levitt, I think, this time through, and he gains 8 on the first down carry. So just chewing up a lot of yards, chewing up some time here late in this contest as Star Valley hoping to pick up their first win against a Wyoming opponent this year. They're 2-1 against Idaho opponents.
You wonder if coming off that loss against a very good team from Idaho and maybe a bit of a snub in that you're not number 1 in the state, if that is a little extra motivation for the Braves here tonight.
Handoff again, another first down. That's Patterson. Patterson had the first touchdown of the ball game, a 56-yard carry, and haven't seen much of him since that, but Mally Patterson will move the chain crew once again.
You see Ty Sheets come back into the game now, which is a very good sign for the Wolverines. See him in that corner position here on the bottom of the screen on the near side. Very good to see him back in the game.
Ball on the 44-yard line in Riverton territory.
1st and 10, Star Valley Braves, 9:40 left to play. Again, it's Star Valley 42, Riverton 6. Hilton under center, full house backfield. He'll pitch it to his fullback, who's got some space out to the left side. Another first down. That's Riley Erickson. We're seeing a lot of new names into the ball game at running back, and Star Valley not only showing off how well they can run, they're showing up their depth this time.
I think you are seeing a lot of new names on the defensive side as well. I thought I saw Ryan Kelly, the freshman, actually being blocked by the quarterback on the design to roll out to the left side. But Riverton unlikely to come back and win this game, so Coach Lenhart getting his lower classmen some valuable experience against a very good team.
Hilton out of the shotgun will give it to his running back again. Another new number, that's Bailey Colgren. Colgren on his 3rd carry of the night. First carry this drive will get it down to the 21-yard line as the Braves attack continues to chew up some clock.
Ty Sheets and Talon Tolman on the tackle for Riverton. Defensively, I mean, so many of these Wolverines are great athletes. They're going to have to play both ways, and Tolman on the defensive side, but more Ty Sheets going both ways. Both those guys are very important to the back half of the Wolverine defense for the rest of the year.
Hilton will hand to Bassett. Collin is met quickly and maybe driven backward a yard. Good pursuit by the Wolverine defense that time.
That was Tolman again in on the play, as well as Clay Sheets, the sophomore.
And Scott and I are back with you next Friday night as Riverton hosts Rollins. 6 o'clock kickoff from Wolverine Field. Hope you'll come out and support the Wolverines. And if you can't make it, you can always watch the stream on County 10's YouTube channel, as well as listen on Jack FM.
It is beautiful up here, and Star Valley's a great team, but I'm looking forward to the friendly confines of home Wi-Fi.
I am as well. Jesse Levitt is met right at the line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up 4th down, so Good job by the Wolverine defense last couple of times through to force a 4th down and 4 from the 22-yard line. We'll see what the Braves do with 7:35 left in the ball game.
I thought it was interesting in your pregame conversation with Coach Lenhart that he mentioned the JV game before this one and how that was a very close game. Wolverines underclassmen nearly won that game, but Coach was out here. He was watching the young guys. He knows exactly how important it is to develop this program from the bottom up.
Wilkes will get the handoff, and I think he's got the 4th down conversion. He does, and a couple of yards. Gain of 6 from Wiley Wilkes. Will keep the possession with Star Valley.
So we see some upperclassmen out there defensively, but you also have some youngsters on the field now getting some playing time defensively. And that's really, I mean, especially in games like this is why you finish this game, is to give these young guys a chance to show what they can do against, now some backups for Star Valley as well, but still a very good football program. Get them as much on-field experience as you can for next year.
We'll hand it off to Grant Thompson. That's Kenyon Hurd, actually. Thompson was his lead blocker. Hurd will pick up 5. Coming up in a little bit on the broadcast, I'm going to tell you about the Wyoming Catholic College Riverton High School Student of the Week. And I say that out loud so I remind myself to do that. But a thank you to Wyoming Catholic College for putting a spotlight on academics for our young students across Fremont County.
Another injury update for the Wolverines. Xavier Garcia was back on the field for that last play after being injured. He forced the ball back inside for Tyree Harris-Aragon to finish up the play, but good to see Garcia back.
Lancaster, direct snap to the new quarterback who rushes it into the end zone. Cooper Lancaster from 13 yards out, and it's another Star Valley Braves touchdown.
Largely backups into the game now, especially on the Star Valley side, but it's a well-coached program, and it doesn't matter. They're still going to execute top to bottom, and this is exactly the kind of consistency from the youth leagues back in Riverton all the way up to middle school, and then the freshman team and the varsity kind of consistency of the program that Coach Lenhart and the Wolverines are trying to adapt. It's going to take some time. I know every Wolverine fan has heard that probably a few too many times, but it's absolutely true. Jerrad, we've seen steps forward in moments in this season so far. An Evanston game you arguably should have won, but for the way you came off the bus defensively and some mistakes later in the game. But they were right there with Powell. They were right there with Cody to an extent in the first half of that game. And for a quarter and a half, also playing very well against Star Valley here tonight. So it's not a full quote-unquote rebuilding phase here for the Wolverines. I think Coach Lenhart and the rest of the staff have done a great job of using the weapons they have, but they also know what it takes to be up here where we are in Star Valley, and they know we're not there yet. So some long-term development to be done, but also I think a lot to look forward to in the season. We keep saying these things in the fourth quarters of games that we're losing, but really when that schedule came out, we knew it was going to be these first 4 teams, especially 3 of those first 4 teams, are going to in some way probably end up 1, 2, and 3 in our area. So we knew it was going to be tough. Now things open up a little bit. Can't take any of these teams for granted. Lander is struggling a lot this year, but you've told me once, if you've told me 100 times, I don't care. It's still Lander Riverton. So I know fans from both communities have that game circled. A lot of these Rawlins games, the Lander game, a couple others, maybe even Douglas, are going to be very interesting to watch for Wolverine fans.
The kickoff attempt is high in the air, tried to field by an Upman. It's a loose ball. We'll see who's on it. There's a pile for it at the 33-yard line.
So a little bit of a miscue by one of the...
Looks like we've got a hurt Wolverine down. It is going to be Riverton possession.
That's Ryan Cox who is down, and he's the one that tried to field the ball.
Yeah, he took a shot. And we'll wish for the best here for Ryan, who's on his back talking to one of the trainers right now. With 5:54 remaining in the ball game, the Bueller PAT made it 49-6. And great news is Ryan Cox is back up under his own steam and will head over to the sideline. Again, a nice hand from the Star Valley fans.
There's an up man in front of Cox there who should have gone backwards to try to catch the ball. Instead, he went forward. to try to block. Cox tried to then come up with the ball and just got leveled there before he gained possession of it. Obviously a live ball in the kickoff. So I think, though, somehow the Wolverines came up with that ball. They did. Didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so. Should be first and 10 Wolverines from their own 33, trailing 49-6 with 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Star Valley chant. So I believe that we will win, and
they're also
right now,
the press box.
Statistically, they've got pretty good odds. Yeah, they've done that a few times where students are jumping up and down, makes us rock back and forth like we're on a cruise ship up here at the top of the press box on the roof. Gattenbein is under center for the Wolverines now. We may have seen the end of Derek DeVries' night. He hands it off, and his running back, Talon Tillman, is met in the backfield for a loss of 1.
Oceanfront property in Wyoming. Is that the George Strait song? Cruise ship up here.
There you go.
Talon, we've seen a couple of carries from him later in games, and I don't dislike him as a running back option either. I think he might be more important defensively. But good to see him as an option in that Riverton backfield as well.
Say no gain officially, 2nd down and 10. DeVries will pitch it to a new man in the backfield who squirts forward for a gain of a couple. That's Hunter Saltzgaver. Hunter, of course, is a kicker that's done so well. We saw him take a handoff last week against Evanston.
We haven't talked about him a whole lot, but I'm not sure he has missed a PAT or a field goal this year. I can't think of one if he has.
Until the block.
The block.
In this game.
That's true.
If that counts against him, which I don't think he got away cleanly. I didn't see exactly what happened there, but coming into this, he hadn't.
Very consistent kicker is a great thing to be able to have inside 35 yards.
It was on my notes that we should have been mentioning him for our Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game potentially last week, too. Instead, gave that to Caden Liebrecht.
We're going to try to give it.
Got his name wrong.
Yeah, we're going to try to give it to the correct player this time, but we appreciate those of you watching to make those corrections, too, because stuff like that does matter to the kids. They like the recognition, especially the younger guys. So it was a roster mix-up. We were just following the roster, but did not obviously intend to get the name wrong. We'll pick a Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game later on tonight, who actually exists out there.
We'll see.
Wait, tonight's gone, I'm not sure. Long day for the Riverton Wolverines.
Wolverines are going to punt it away on 4th down and 6. Inside of 4 minutes to play. Is that Treber again? It is, and his punt looks like it was blocked. Tipped, and it'll be down at the 45-yard line. So Gage Treber never really got it away cleanly, and the ball will be at the Wolverine 45 for the Braves to take over at least one more time here with 3:33 remaining in this one. I will say, and I know we've still got 3.5 minutes to play, it hasn't gotten as cold as I thought it was going to get. I had anticipated, I saw the low tonight was in the mid-30s, so I brought a coat. Haven't needed that yet, so we've got that going for us.
We're not there yet here in Afton. 59 currently. Clear skies is an understatement. It was a beautiful evening. Beautiful drive up here through the Tetons, and then we got here at about, 72 degrees, I think it was. Nice, cool Friday night football evening now.
I formation in the backfield for Star Valley. They'll plow forward Riley Erickson on the carry, gains 5, and we're inside at 3.5. Want to shout out our Wyoming Catholic College Student of the Week for Riverton High School. That is We2 Cloud Horse. We2 is a girls basketball player. She's also done amazing things academically in the classroom, and I was reading her bio at county10.com. She has aspirations to go to school at Columbia. That's her dream school. Wants to go to New York.
It's a decent school.
And said basically her motto after graduating is she wants to go travel and see the world. So
for her.
Love that, and congratulations to We2 Cloud Horse. She'll be a force to watch on the basketball court for the Lady Wolverines this season. Big pickup for the Star Valley Braves. Run to the left side, and another first down as the Braves continue to work clock and pick up some more yardage.
clock is going to be rolling here inside of 3 minutes, 2:36 and counting. See if the Wolverines can keep Star Valley out of the end zone with a mix of their starters and some backups in defensively for Riverton.
Ball is on the 25-yard line. It's Cooper Lancaster under center for Star Valley. 2 in the backfield. And they'll keep it on the ground. There's another new running back that I got to look down and see who picks up a first down. That's Tayson Tittenser. Tayson Tittenser, a junior, with his first carry of the game.
Talk about the depth of this Star Valley team. That's a good example of it right there. And it's not just in numbers on the sideline here on the near side for Star Valley, but how much they are not giving up when they have to go too deep in a position. 3 quarterbacks that they can't make up their mind which is the best one. This is all the indications Coach Young and Star Valley have this program poised for continued sustained success, graduation after graduation.
3 really good quarterbacks is a great problem to have. This is Lancaster under center. Inside in 90 seconds to play. Time remaining in the ball game. Another handoff, and right down to the goal line. Is he in? He is. That's Hayden Morgan for the touchdown. Hayden carries it across, and the cannon might be out at this point. I don't know if I heard the cannon. Oh, there it is. Just a delayed cannon.
To recycle one of the previous cannonballs. Go find it somewhere in the foothills. That's nice penetration there by the Riverton defense initially. Just couldn't make the wrap up in the backfield. Would have been a loss of a couple on the play had the first Wolverine through been able to wrap up the feet of the running back. But strong, powerful running. Just past the goal line. The football over for another 6 points for Star Valley.
Kick is good.
Bueller's extra point is good. So Star Valley is going to win their 7th consecutive game against Riverton. They will break the series tie, by the way. The all-time series was 10-10 coming in this one. John alluded to, John Gabrielson in our Porter's Tailgate show, that there's a little bit of a discrepancy because one of those Riverton wins was in a 0-week game. I'm still going to count it because I'm the Riverton guy, so that's what we do.
0 week is such a strange concept to me, but it's a very strange Wyoming football thing. But, that counts.
Star Valley won this matchup in Riverton last year, 59-19. And here we are at 56-6 with 1:19 to play.
I want to give a shout-out to John Gabrielson, who you and I both know him for a long time. Listening to him call Wolverine games last year on Jack FM, as well as here at County 10, was a lot of fun. And I'm really enjoying his historical feature at the start of each of your broadcasts so that we get some additional context. It goes back sometimes generations of football across the state of Wyoming. And what a great person to give his perspective, too. Nobody better.
One more kickoff for Christoph Bueller, who has been very busy tonight. The sophomore kicker will put the toe to it, and it just travels out of bounds into the track.
Well out of bounds. It's just a bit outside there, and it landed 10 yards out of bounds. That will be a penalty of procedure against the Star Valley Braves.
Can you curveball a kick? Bueller's had such a good night. I didn't expect to see that one travel so far away.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Last Riverton punt was kind of similar. I think there was a block in there, but I think it went off the side of his foot. That was a net 7-yard punt prior to Star Valley marching down the field for what we have to hope is their final score. With a little bit of time on the clock, let's see if the Wolverines want to mount any kind of a big play here.
Have all kinds of weekend coverage coming up early next week at county10.com for you, including state golf results. State golf going on this weekend in Worland. Riverton boys looking to repeat as champions. Parker Paxton is in hopes for his 4th consecutive individual title and you only get 4 years of high school for most people, so that's pretty darn good for Parker Paxton and the outstanding Gulf family.
Don't tell me what he shot. I don't want to know.
Saltzgaver with the carry.
Saltzgaver carries it on first down, picks up 3, and we're at a minute to play from Star Valley as we run out the last few seconds here. The Wolverines will drop to 0-3 officially, I guess, if you don't count the 0-week game. That's Saltzgaver again darting around in the backfield. He's got some space. Busts it out to the right side and will be all the way down to the 49-yard line.
Nice vision, nice cutback there from Saltzgaver. I'm not sure if we're going to see another snap. We have 26 seconds and counting.
Ball on the 49-yard line.
See if Riverton chooses to break the huddle in a bit of a hurry and snap it, or if they are content in running it out. But they have 13 seconds coming up here to run a play, so we may see one more.
Probably final play of the ball game. Gettenbein will hand it to Saltzgaver again, who's met in the backfield and will lose a yard there. That will do it from Star Valley. The Braves certainly showed why they are one of the top teams in 3A football, one of the top teams in the state, frankly. Final score on this Friday night, the Star Valley Braves 56, the Riverton Wolverines 6. Our Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show is coming up here in just a moment. We'll step aside for a quick timeout and be back to wrap this one up quickly. We're also going to select our Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game in moments. Again, Star Valley victorious 56-6. Back on county10.com and 105.1 Jack FM.
IPC.
How many letters?
5 letters.
Just think about, what am I doing right now?
Smile. Smile?
Uh-huh.
This is so easy.
Nobody likes to be stopped by the police. But if I'd seen her texting while driving and given her a ticket, it just might have saved her life.
RE/MAX All-Star Realtors are proud to sponsor sports across Fremont County for the 22-23 season. RE/MAX All-Star Realtors was founded in 1991 with the goal of doing real estate in a way that would make our clients' lives as easy and uninterrupted as possible. They've completed many transactions involving residential, commercial, vacant lots, farm and ranch, and investment properties, and can help you with any goal you might have regarding any of these today. RE/MAX All-Star Realtors, 938 West Main Street, Riverton. See them online at remaxriverton.com.
Central Bank and Trust is a local bank that is focused on technology and convenience. We have a simpler online mortgage application process. You can use your computer or mobile device to upload required documents and sign them online. We have a variety of personal and business banking services. Stop in or visit centralbanktrust.com. We live here. We work here.
Welcome you into the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show from Star Valley High School here in Afton. Once again, the final score, All-Star Valley in this one, 56-6. They are victorious. And Scott, we've had a number of technical issues. We've got, we're on a roof basically right now, and we've got to drive 4.5 hours back across the state. So we're
nice reset. That's a happy reset. Thanks, Jerrad.
We're going to cut. I'm prefacing that we're going to cut the post-game show a little bit short. We will catch up with Coach Lenhart and have him very soon on the County 10 Sports podcast, and of course part of our broadcast next week. But he's got to climb up a little narrow staircase to get to us, and frankly I don't want to make him do that.
Narrow is not the description. I mean, it's scary. It's a
miracle that we made it up.
So. And we haven't made it back down yet.
That's true. We've still got to do that part of it, which you may not hear from us Monday. That's probably why. Anyhow, we're going to cut the post-game show a little bit short, but we do want to select our player of the game. Tyler Watson from State Farm allows us to do this. Tyler's a great RHS alumnus and Wolverine supporter. You can call Tyler Watson at State Farm for all of your insurance need. He is a proud supporter of Wolverine Athletics, and Tyler Watson's number is 856-4118. That's 856-4118. Scott Fuller, who is our Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game?
I think we're going with a senior who showed a lot of heart, took a huge hit out there, and came back in the game. Fortunately, he's okay. And will continue to be a big defensive presence in coverage for the Wolverines. Was one of his quarterback's favorite targets, and also carried the ball a handful of times. I think we're going to go with Ty Sheets for the Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game. Nice all-around performance in a game where there's not a whole lot of standout stats. We're going to be giving this award in weeks to come to big play offensive performances. Guys like Nick McIntosh have already hung 200 receiving yards on very good defenses. So that is coming, and Ty Sheets is up there as an offensive weapon as well, but his defensive play, the fact that he is a bit of a threat in the backfield and that he hung in there after taking a shot from which I would be down for a fiscal quarter is, I think the reason that we arrived at the senior for the Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game.
Congratulations to Ty. Thanks to Tyler Watson State Farm. I kept thinking the entire time you went on the Ty Sheets spiel, they kept turning Neil Diamond up louder and louder as the Sweet Caroline celebration tradition happening at Star Valley High School, and the Braves sprint off the field. So with that, we're going to wrap things up. We do sincerely apologize for some technical difficulties, some connectivity issues here that frankly just out of our hands, but really appreciate your patience bearing with us. We will be back home next week as the Wolverines host Rollins. You can catch that coverage on Jack FM and County 10 at 5:30 for our Porter's Tailgate show, 6 o'clock for the kickoff, and it is homecoming week, so hope you'll enjoy all the festivities all week long, the parade, and a lot of pomp and circumstance next week.
Sorry, Jerrad. Not sure if you heard that PA announcement. Cody lost this evening. I'm not sure who they were playing, but that is obviously a team that the Braves have their eye on the scoreboard, because those Cody and Star Valley teams here are considered to be 1 and 2 in the state. They are 1 and 2 in the state right now, but the announcement was just made they lost.
I've got yopreps.com saying Cody won 34-7.
And maybe I heard it wrong. So I'm going to go with Preps.
Sure that was a football score?
It may not have been.
Okay.
I'm confused as why they would break in with that announcement, but we're going to go with that. So I apologize for stalling your wrap up there. I thought I heard something I didn't hear.
You can certainly double check it, but Prep says Cody 34, Buffalo 7. Also in 3A, Powell knocked off Douglas 27-7, and Evanston is up on Lander 40-0. Although I did just see a text from Wyatt Barijka that said Lander did score, so I think Lander may have found the end zone late in that one. All right, with that, we're going to wrap it up here from Star Valley High School. Thanks to Jason Peterson for hanging out all night. He made the trek over with us. He's got a ride back again with Scott and I, which, man, the guy just, if you know Jason, give him some credit for dealing with a trip with Scott and I, because he will be riding back across the state with us this evening. Thanks to you again, Scott Fuller, and our entire County 10 crew. Once again, the final score from Star Valley, it was the Star Valley Braves 56, the Riverton Wolverines 6. We'll talk to you next Friday. Have a great rest of your night and a great weekend.